Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my favorite basses of all time, and that is the Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray Classic. Let's check it out. This here is my Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray Classic. And what a bass it is. This thing is absolutely magnificent. Featuring a selected hardwoods swamp ash body, a classic 2-band preamp, classic style bridge with the bridge mutes, classically constructed Ernie Ball Music Man pickup here, and this 21 fret flamed maple on flamed maple neck. This thing is a masterpiece. This thing is so beautiful. I love this neck. It is encased in a full, thick gloss. I'm normally not that big of a fan of a gloss neck, but this is definitely an exception, and it is a glorious neck. I love it. The tuners are not the lightweight, newer style tuners. However, I don't really find any sort of neck dive on this bass. That's probably because this is a massive instrument in terms of its actual mass. This thing weighs over 10 pounds. This is a hefty bass for sure. However, it has tone for days, and I love what this thing sounds like. Let's go ahead and turn this bass around real quick, and then we'll play it. Starting at the bottom, you can see the string ferrules, which allow you to string through the body. Now, I just restrung this bass with a fresh set of MJC Ironworks nickel-plated stainless steel 45 to 105 strings, just like I do in all my other reviews to keep things consistent. Now, next to that is a classic style battery door. Unfortunately, this isn't an actual door, this is just a metal plate with 2 screws. However, 2 screws isn't that big a deal, and they're kind of going for a little bit of history here, where you're not gonna find this in a modern Stingray. And that's okay. I mean, they improved it, but this isn't meant to be the improved Stingray. This is just meant to be the classic, the old school. However, one thing that is not classic or old school is the neck joint with a modern 6-screw neck attachment like they do with the regular Stingrays. However, this is very different from the Stingray Special, which has a 5-screw attachment and a more contoured neck joint. And then finally, I mean, look at this neck. Look at this thing. This thing is nuts. This thing is insane. And it's mine. All mine. You can't have it. Now, I know you guys are wondering, what does this thing sound like? You guys know what you need to do. Go ahead and pinch that like button so my hand will turn back to normal. Thanks. So this is it. This is my Stingray Classic, and I just love this thing. I love how it sounds. What you've heard is with everything just all the way down. So I like to approach these Stingrays a little bit different than you would a normal active bass, where you kind of start at the middle and work your way out from there. With Stingrays, I just like to turn everything down and just build up from there. So first, let's start with the bass a little bit and give this a bit more body. Yeah, so that was just with the bass control, probably up almost all the way, and it just gives it a nice fat oomph. just add some treble to this. Sorry, I touched the pole pieces a little bit. Sometimes you get a little bit of buzzy buzz when you touch them. I can probably fix that later, not a big deal, because I love this thing. I love it. Oh, man. Now, let's engage a feature which I really haven't talked about much before, and that is the bridge mutes here. These are very usable and very functional to give you a completely different type of sound. Let me go ahead and engage them right now. Very nice, very nice. Now let's go ahead and bring the mutes back down. And let's go ahead and slap this thing. Yeah, this thing slaps really well. Now, if you're curious, here's what this thing sounds like with no bass and lots of treble. Yeah, I think I might do a little shielding to this at some point in time later. Now, with the mutes engaged, let's go ahead and play this with the pick a little bit, see what happens. I bet this thing would sound great with a set of flats. However, I do have flats on my old smoothie, which is essentially this bass, but with a different pickup, so meh. Let's see what happens when we take the treble down all the way, only leaving the bass maxed out with the mutes engaged. I'm going to go ahead and play up here closer to the neck versus over the pickup to get a fatter sound. Now let's try that with a pick. Very nice and mellow sound out of an otherwise, I guess, very sharp and aggressive sounding bass. So let's go ahead and take the bass down a little bit, bring the treble up a little bit more. I'm going to take these mutes back down, and let's go ahead and throw some drums behind this bass. So here are my final thoughts on the Stingray Classic. What a bass. What a bass this is. I love how they took a lot of the classic components, be it the pickup, the preamp, the bridge, the neck construction with the thick gloss, just everything about this, and added a few modern touches like the neck attachment and made an excellent bass. Now, how much does one of these cost? That's a good question because they don't really sell them anymore. However, you can still buy some new through some shops. I think they're going to be making them in smaller batches. Brand new, these are around $2,500, which is right around where the Stingray Special Double Humbucker is. Is the Stingray Special a better instrument than the Stingray Classic, especially the Double Humbucker model? Yes. Yes, it is. In all practical senses, the Stingray Special Double Humbucker, for essentially the same price, is a better instrument. You get an additional fret, 2 pickups, a revised, more modern preamp. The 2 pickups have more modern magnet construction with the neodymium magnets versus the Alnico that's in here. I mean, there's a lot of big differences that would make you want to go for the Stingray Special over this. However, for the true Stingray fanatic and someone who wants, I guess, a taste of the old without any of the worries of maintenance or longevity, this is where it's at. This is where it is at. And I love this bass. I absolutely love it. Now, sadly, this bass also suffers from the similar fate to that of the Sterling, the USA Sterling, which on the secondhand market can be found for not a lot of money relative to their new counterparts. A brand new Sterling is up there with the Stingray Special at around, I think, $2,300, $2,400, $2,500. However, on the used market, you can find them for, I guess, around $1,000 to $1,500, sometimes more or less depending on the condition and configuration of the pickups. Same goes with the Stingray Classic. You can usually find these for around $1,500 on the used market. And because there's not really any changes to these over the years, I mean, they've been producing these since the late 2000s, I want to say. There's no reason to really buy a new one unless you want a new one. I mean, I did, but there's no real reason to. You can get a beautiful one on the used market and save yourself some money. So the value here is not there compared to that of the Stingray Special Double Humbucker if you're buying new. On the used market, I think that these are an excellent value and are kind of a nice modern taste of history, similar to that of the G&L, L1000, and L2000 CLF models, which are kind of retro reissues. Now, one small gripe in regard to the grounding and shielding situation here is that there really isn't any. I know they're trying to build this in the classic style, and I don't believe they really used any sort of shielding and stuff back in the 70s, which this is kind of modeled after. That being said, I wish from the factory they did do some shielding or copper shielding or something like that. However, this is going to be the same type of treatment like I gave my Charvel San Dimas. So what am I going to rate the Stingray Classic from Ernie Ball Music Man? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and rate this bass 4 claws out of 5. This is an absolutely spectacular instrument. The value proposition may not be there, especially if you're buying new and comparing it to a Stingray Special, which the double humbucker model comes in at around the same price point. I don't think there's going to be a lot of cross-shopping between the two models. This is for the Stingray enthusiast who wants something special and probably has other Stingrays, and they just want something, I mean, I said special, Stingray Special, but who wants something a little bit more unique. A lot of these Stingray Classics have beautifully figured necks, and they have the thick gloss, the classic slab body, 2-band preamp. I mean, there's a lot of really nice touches here, which make this thing feel, I guess, a lot more special and less mass-produced. As I mentioned before, the value brand new really isn't there unless you really, really want this and don't want anything else and want one that no one has ever touched. I would definitely recommend snagging one of these on the used market and save yourself about $1,000, because these are awesome basses, just spectacular. I love them. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join our Discord, and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about my Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray Classic. And as always, until we groove again,